No new offshore oil and gas exploration, new being the key word. 57 permits already exist and they will continue to exist. Now, whatever you think of that announcement, and the responses we're getting are fairly polarised, the negotiations were a tricky juggling act for Jacinda Ardern. While she had campaigned on tackling climate change, and the Greens have that at the very centre of their policy platform and indeed identity, New Zealand First has attached its identity to regional development, and the regions, particularly Taranaki, where oil and gas are found. We'll be in Taranaki live in a moment. A public meeting taking place tonight. We have reaction from there, but first of all, here's our Deputy Political Editor, Chris Bramwell.
Oil and gas exploration is the perfect storm for Labour as it seeks to balance the different positions of its support partners while keeping both the Greens and New Zealand First on side. The Greens want a fast track to the end of fossil fuel dependence, while New Zealand First is keen to make sure the regions don't take an economic hit. But Jacinda Ardern says all parties in government are committed to taking action on climate change. She says there were discussions in the coalition talks about the extractive industries.
As the Minister of Climate Change has made clear, it was already in their election manifesto. We were aware of that. From New Zealand First's position, it's already public that they want to see support for the extractive industries, and industries like silica, an area where we'll probably like to see more production rather than less.
The Greens co-leader and Climate Change Minister James Shaw struggled to contain a smile at today's press conference, but he says while the move is a good one, it doesn't go as far as he would have liked.
We would like to be able to move faster on this transition, but we did always say that we would honour existing permits. The fact is that there's a phase out for onshore of another 3 years, and we would like to move a little bit faster on that. We think that that would also provide more certainty to the industry.
The Greens are claiming today's announcement as a big win for them, though it was always on the cards under Jacinda Ardern's leadership, particularly after she took the unusual step of personally accepting a Greenpeace petition to ban all oil and gas exploration at Parliament last month. The Economic Development Minister, New Zealand First's Shane Jones, says his party was well aware of the Prime Minister's views on fossil fuels when it signed up to the coalition. He says he's part of a genuine MMP government, but it's clear from Mr Jones's tone that this deal is a tough one for him to accept.
I can't walk back from the status that I've had throughout my whole life as being a pro-industry man, but I am one person and I am loyal to the agreements that are struck by my leader and the Prime Minister, and it's futile to talk about alternative scenarios. As of today, this is the only scenario.
There are 31 active oil and gas exploration permits, 22 of which are offshore. The government's at pains to point out that they run out as far as 2030 and could go an additional 40 years under a mining permit. But Nationals leader Simon Bridges describes the announcement as a wrecking ball for regional New Zealand.
It's going to be a chill down the spine of New Zealand business because they saw it in irrigation. There was no consultation there. They've had it here, no consultation, which you'd get if this was actually a transition. They just dropped with it, and businesses will be asking who's next.
Simon Bridges says the decision will actually have perverse outcomes for the environment.
We've got a decade or under of gas left, and that's what runs much of our heavy industry in the North Island, but also through to the shops and the homes. And when that gas runs out, because it's going to now, what you've got instead is imported coal with much higher emissions.
Jacinda Ardern says the announcement is about sending a signal that there is change coming. But in the meantime, there are 57 approved exploration and mining permits in New Zealand, and it's up to the industry whether they use them. The onshore block offers will continue in Taranaki for the next 3 years and will be reviewed after that. Atu i te whare pārimata mō te hōtaka o te ahi pōnei, ko Chris Bramwell.